Imagine waking up every day feeling energized, clear-minded, and pain-free. Imagine your joints no longer aching, your skin glowing, your belly flat, and your mood steady. Now imagine if the key to that kind of vitality wasn't in a pill or a procedure, but right at the end of your fork. The truth is, the food you eat isn't just fuel, it's information. It talks to your genes, your immune system, your hormones, your brain. It either drives inflammation, the root of nearly every chronic disease, or it helps to cool that fire and bring your body back into balance. Most people don't realize that the H's, the fatigue, the brain fog, the weight gain, it's not just aging or bad luck, it's inflammation. And the good news is we can change that dramatically and quickly by changing what we eat. This isn't about deprivation or going on a crash diet. It's about understanding the real anti-inflammatory diet, the kind that nourishes your body deeply, reverses disease, and restores your vitality. So today I want to show you the simple, powerful choices that can change your biology with every bite. Because when you eat real food, food that your body recognizes, you don't just feel better, you become the best version of yourself. Let's dive in and talk about what to eat, what to avoid, and how you can reclaim your health one meal at a time. Ultra-processed foods and added sugars have become the norm in modern diets, infiltrating almost every corner of our grocery stores, pantries, and daily meals. While they're often convenient, tasty, and inexpensive, they are also one of the most dangerous threats to our long-term health. These foods are engineered to be hyperpalatable, meaning they light up the reward centers in our brain, pushing us to crave more, eat more, and ultimately spiral into a cycle of inflammation, weight gain, fatigue, and chronic illness. The link between these foods and systemic inflammation is well established in the scientific literature. Chronic inflammation is now understood to be the root cause of nearly every modern disease, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune conditions, Alzheimer's, and even cancer. When we eat ultra-processed foods, we're not just getting calories, we're getting a chemical storm. These products are typically loaded with refined sugars, processed grains, artificial additives, inflammatory oils, and preservatives, none of which the human body was designed to process in large amounts. Instead of nourishing our cells, they trigger alarm bells in our immune system. The body treats these foreign compounds as invaders, reacting with an inflammatory response. Over time, that low-grade inflammation becomes chronic, simmering below the surface and silently damaging tissues and organs. One of the biggest offenders in this inflammatory cascade is added sugar. Sugar in all its forms, whether it's high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, or even so-called natural sweeteners, triggers a rapid spike in blood glucose and insulin. When blood sugar levels spike repeatedly, the body responds with a cascade of pro-inflammatory cytokines. These are signaling molecules that tell your immune system to ramp up its response. While inflammation is helpful in acute injury or infection, constant spikes in cytokines lead to chronic inflammation that damages arteries, disrupts hormones, and exhausts the immune system. Sugar also feeds harmful bacteria in the gut, which can lead to dysbiosis, an imbalance of gut microbes that further promotes inflammation throughout the body. Another major culprit in ultra-processed foods is refined carbohydrates. These include white flour, white rice, and other stripped-down grains that have been processed to remove their fiber and nutrients. These refined carbs break down quickly into sugar, causing a spike in blood sugar just like actual sugar does. The glycemic roller coaster that results from a diet high in refined carbs leads to insulin resistance, weight gain, and systemic inflammation. Moreover, these foods are devoid of nutrients that are critical for anti-inflammatory processes in the body. Nutrients like magnesium, zinc, antioxidants, and B vitamins. Many processed foods are also loaded with industrial seed oils such as soybean oil, corn oil, and canola oil. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which in excess are highly inflammatory. While omega-6 fats are technically essential in small amounts, the modern Western diet contains them in disproportionately high quantities, often with little to no omega-3s to balance them. This imbalance tips the body toward a pro-inflammatory state, which becomes the foundation for a host of metabolic and autoimmune diseases. The way these oils are produced, under high heat and pressure using chemical solvents, also means they often carry oxidized molecules and residues that contribute to cellular damage. Artificial additives, preservatives, and emulsifiers commonly found in processed foods add another layer of inflammation-promoting compounds. These substances disrupt gut integrity, triggering a condition known as leaky gut, where undigested food particles and toxins escape the digestive tract and enter the bloodstream. This alerts the immune system and causes widespread inflammation as the body works overtime to neutralize these threats. Over time, this state of immune hyperactivity can develop into autoimmune reactions, food sensitivities, and chronic fatigue. Processed meats are another category of ultra-processed food that significantly contributes to inflammation. Products like bacon, hot dogs, deli meats, and sausages often contain nitrates, preservative, and other additives linked to inflammatory diseases. These foods are also frequently high in advanced glycation end products AGS, which form when protein or fat combines with sugar in the bloodstream. AGs promote oxidative stress and inflammation and are considered key contributors to aging and degenerative diseases. What makes ultra-processed foods even more problematic is that they displace nutrient-dense, whole foods in the diet. Every time we choose a packaged snack over a piece of fruit or a fast food meal over a homemade salad, we're not just adding inflammatory substances. We're missing out on healing, anti-inflammatory compounds like fiber, phytonutrients, vitamins, and healthy fats. Fiber from fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains feeds the good bacteria in the gut, producing short-chain fatty acids that calm inflammation and strengthen the gut lining. Antioxidants found in colorful produce help neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative stress. Omega-3 fats from fish, flax, and walnuts help balance the inflammatory effects of omega-6 fats. The addictive nature of ultra-processed foods makes them especially hard to give up. They are designed to override your natural satiety cues, making it easy to eat large quantities without feeling full. This leads to overconsumption of inflammatory calories and underconsumption of healing nutrients. The result is a body that is chronically starved at the cellular level despite being overfed. People often feel tired, foggy, moody, and inflamed, not realizing that their food choices are the primary driver of their symptoms. Breaking free from the grip of ultra-processed foods and sugar starts with awareness and education, reading labels, cooking at home, and choosing foods that are as close to their natural state as possible are powerful first steps. It means swapping sugary cereals for steel-cut oats, replacing soda with filtered water or herbal teas, trading chips for raw nuts or sliced veggies, and choosing meals that are built from whole ingredients. Every small shift adds up, and over time, the inflammation that has been sabotaging your health begins to subside. The beauty of the body is that it wants to heal. It's designed to return to balance when given the right tools. When you remove inflammatory foods and replace them with healing ones, the results can be rapid and transformative. Energy returns, mood stabilizes, pain fades, and chronic symptoms begin to resolve. This is not about dieting or deprivation. It's about aligning your food with your biology. The right foods don't just prevent disease, they reverse it, and the first step is clearing your plate of the ultra-processed, sugary imposters that don't serve your health. Your future self will thank you. Eating whole, nutrient-dense foods is one of the most powerful ways to heal the body from the inside out. These are the foods that come from nature, not from factories. They don't have long ingredient lists, flashy marketing claims, or artificial preservatives. They don't need to, because their power lies in their simplicity and their dense concentration of vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants, phytonutrients. When we choose these foods consistently, we give our body the raw materials it needs to function properly, repair damage, and cool chronic inflammation. Unlike processed foods that create confusion in the body, whole foods offer clarity, structure, and harmony to every biological system. They speak the language your body understands, and your cells respond with vitality, resilience, and renewal. Whole foods are incredibly rich in anti-inflammatory compounds that work together to neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative stress. Take leafy greens for example. Spinach, kale, arugula, collard greens. All of these are packed with chlorophyll, magnesium, folate, and vitamin C. These nutrients support detoxification, cellular repair, and immune function. They also provide fiber, which helps regulate digestion and supports a healthy gut microbiome. The gut is central to inflammation. When the gut is balanced and the lining is strong, inflammation throughout the body is reduced. When the gut is damaged or inflamed, toxins, bacteria, and undigested food particles can enter the bloodstream, triggering an immune response that leads to systemic inflammation. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprout, and cabbage are another powerhouse group of healing foods. They contain sulfur compounds like sulforaphane, which have been shown to activate detoxification enzymes in the liver and protect against cancer. These vegetables also help regulate estrogen levels in the body, which is particularly important in preventing hormone-related cancers and reducing inflammation in hormone-sensitive tissues. They provide a slow, steady release of glucose, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce insulin spikes, which are known drivers of inflammation. Colorful fruits and vegetables are also vital in the anti-inflammatory diet. Berries, such as blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries, are loaded with antioxidants like anthocyanins and flavonoids, which have potent anti-inflammatory effects. These compounds help protect brain function, support heart health, and improve insulin sensitivity. The fiber in fruits also helps slow the absorption of sugar, preventing blood sugar spikes and supporting a healthy digestive system. Citrus fruits loaded with vitamin C help reduce oxidative stress and support the immune system's ability to calm inflammation naturally. Healthy fats are another cornerstone of the anti-inflammatory diet. Avocados, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon and sardines provide omega-3 fatty acids, monounsaturated fats, and polyphenols that actively fight inflammation. Omega-3s in particular are known to inhibit inflammatory pathways in the body and support brain, heart, and joint health. Olive oil contains oleocanthal, a compound with effects similar to ibuprofen, helping to reduce pain and swelling. These fats also support the integrity of cell membranes, hormone production, and the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Nuts and seeds are small but mighty sources of healing. Walnuts, flax seeds, chias, pumpkin seeds, and almonds contain a variety of nutrients like zinc, selenium, magnesium, and vitamin E that work together to support immune health and reduce inflammation. They also provide fiber and healthy fats that contribute to satiety, stable blood sugar, and digestive health. When you include these foods in your diet regularly, you begin to build a foundation of nourishment that reduces your reliance on processed snacks and inflammatory oils. Whole grains, when properly chosen and tolerated, can also play a role in the anti-inflammatory diet. Quinoa, buckwheat, brown rice, millet, and oats are gluten-free options that provide fiber, B vitamins, and important minerals like manganese and phosphorus. Unlike refined grains that spike blood sugar and offer little nutritional value, whole grains support gut health and provide slow-burning fuel that keeps energy levels steady. Fermented grains like sourdough may also offer additional benefits through their probiotic content and improved digestibility. Legumes such as lentils, chickpeas, black beans, and mung beans are excellent sources of plant-based protein, fiber, and a variety of vitamins and minerals. They help feed beneficial gut bacteria and support detoxification. Their high fiber content promotes satiety and healthy digestion, while their low glycemic load helps keep insulin levels in check. These foods can be especially powerful in an anti-inflammatory diet when combined with healthy fats and vegetables to create balanced, nutrient-dense meals. Herbs and spices are not only flavor enhancers, they are some of the most potent anti-inflammatory foods available. Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, has been extensively studied for its ability to reduce inflammation and improve symptoms of arthritis, metabolic syndrome, and even depression. Ginger aids that reduces muscle soreness and has anti-nausea and anti-inflammatory properties. Garlic, onions, oregano, cinnamon, and rosemary are all rich in compounds that help fight pathogens, regulate blood sugar, and lower inflammation. These foods act like natural medicine, enhancing both the taste and therapeutic value of your meals. One of the most important aspects of a whole food, nutrient-dense diet is variety. Eating a diverse array of foods ensures that you're getting a broad spectrum of nutrients that work synergistically to promote healing and reduce inflammation. It also helps prevent food sensitivities and supports a diverse microbiome, which is essential for regulating the immune system and maintaining resilience. The more colors, textures, and types of plants you include in your diet, the stronger your foundation for long-term health becomes. It's not about perfection or never indulging again. It's about choosing foods that love you back. Every time you make a decision to eat a real, whole food instead of something processed and artificial, you're choosing healing over harm. You're sending the message to your body that you are ready to support it, to nourish it, and to allow it to do what it does best: heal. Nutrient-dense foods are not just about preventing disease. They're about creating energy, focus, joy, and strength. They're about reversing the damage caused by years of inflammation and poor choices, and creating a new path forward. The beauty of whole foods is that they don't just address one problem, they support every system of the body at once. They lower inflammation, balance hormones, support the brain and heart, repair the gut, and detoxify the liver. They help you look better, feel better, and age better. This is the real anti-inflammatory diet, not a short-term fix but a lifelong strategy for total wellness. It starts with your next bite. Make it count. Balancing blood sugar is one of the most critical yet often overlooked components of reducing inflammation and achieving lasting health. When blood sugar levels swing wildly, spiking high and crashing low, the body enters a state of metabolic chaos. These fluctuations create a cascade of stress signals, inflammation, and hormone imbalances that affect everything from your mood to your energy, from your weight to your immune system. Most people don't realize their everyday food choices, especially breakfast and snacks, are setting them up for these blood sugar roller coasters that drive chronic inflammation, fatigue, cravings, and disease. To truly calm the body and build a foundation for anti-inflammatory living, we need to focus on eating in a way that keeps blood sugar stable. This means centering meals around high-quality fats, fiber-rich carbohydrates, and clean proteins. Foods that digest slowly and nourish deeply. When you start your day with a high sugar, low protein breakfast like a muffin, cereal, or flavored yogurt, your blood sugar shoots up rapidly. Your pancreas responds by releasing insulin to bring the sugar back down. But because the sugar hit was so intense, insulin often overshoots the mark, causing your blood sugar to crash just a couple hours later. That crash makes you feel tired, anxious, irritable, and hungry, even if you just ate. So what do? You reach for another quick fix, often more sugar or caffeine, and the cycle continues. This constant up and down puts enormous stress on your metabolism, leading to insulin resistance, weight gain, especially around the belly, and chronic inflammation. Over time, this can lead to serious conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's, which some experts are now calling type 3 diabetes, because of its strong link to insulin dysfunction. To interrupt this cycle, we have to be intentional about the foods we eat and how we combine them. Starting the day with a blood sugar balancing breakfast is one of the most powerful changes you can make. Instead of sugary cereals or toast, choose a meal that contains healthy fats, fiber, and protein. For example, a breakfast of pasture-raised eggs, sauteed egg with spinach and avocado, maybe with a side of berries or some roasted sweet potato, provides the nutrients your body needs without the sugar spike. The fat and protein slow the absorption of carbohydrates, helping to keep your blood sugar stable and your energy sustained throughout the morning. This kind of meal doesn't just keep you full, it sends signals of safety and stability to your brain and body. Anti-inflammatory fats play a key role in balancing blood sugar and calming the system. Avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon or sardines are rich in omega-3s and monounsaturated fats that not only reduce inflammation but also help slow down the digestion of carbohydrates. When you eat a carb with fat and fiber, the sugar is released more gradually into the bloodstream, preventing those spikes and crashes. This is why a piece of fruit is always better when paired with a handful of nuts or a scoop of nut butter. The fat and fiber work together to modulate the impact of the sugar, keeping your insulin levels more stable. Fiber is another essential player in blood sugar balance. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut, supports digestion, and slows the release of sugar into the bloodstream. Vegetables, legumes, whole fruits, seeds, and certain whole grains are excellent sources of fiber that should be part of every meal. Think of fiber as your internal buffer against inflammation. It keeps things moving, nourishes your gut lining, and helps detoxify excess hormones and toxins that would otherwise contribute to systemic stress. The average person consumes far too little fiber, and increasing your intake with real, whole foods is one of the simplest ways to reduce inflammation and support metabolic health. Carbohydrates themselves aren't the enemy. What matters is the type, amount, and context in which they're eaten. Refined carbs like white bread, pastries, pasta, and sugary drinks deliver a huge sugar load without any of the fiber, vitamins, or minerals that help the body process them. These foods hit your bloodstream fast, creating those spikes that stress your system. In contrast, carbohydrates from root vegetables, legumes, and whole fruits contain fiber and nutrients that help regulate how sugar is absorbed. When you choose carbs that come from nature and pair them with healthy fats and protein, you transform them from a problem into a powerful source of energy. One of the most effective strategies for balancing blood sugar is to avoid snacking on processed, carb-heavy foods and instead eat complete meals that include protein, fat, and fiber. When your meals are satisfying and balanced, your need to snack diminishes naturally. If you do need a snack, choose something that won't spike your sugar, like a hard-boiled egg with olive oil, hummus and veggies, or a chia seed pudding with coconut milk. These kinds of snacks stabilize your blood sugar and support your energy instead of setting you up for another crash. Hydration and stress management also play important roles in blood sugar regulation. Dehydration can cause the liver to release more glucose into the bloodstream, while chronic stress activates the adrenal glands to release cortisol, which in turn increases blood sugar. When your body is in a fight or flight state, it prepares for action by making more sugar available to your cells. But if you're not actually using that sugar for physical activity, if you're just sitting at your desk feeling stressed, that sugar circulates and contributes to inflammation. Deep breathing, mindfulness, movement, and staying hydrated are all part of the broader blood sugar balancing picture. It's important to note that balancing blood sugar isn't just for people with diabetes or metabolic syndrome, it's for everyone. Stable blood sugar improves mood, reduces anxiety, enhances sleep, supports hormone balance, and boosts cognitive function. When your blood sugar is steady, you feel grounded, focused, and resilient. Your body is no longer reacting to crisis after crisis, but instead able to operate from a place of balance and healing. This is the state where inflammation goes down, repair mechanisms are activated, and longevity pathways are supported. The beauty of eating to balance blood sugar is that it's not complicated. It doesn't require expensive supplements or fancy superfoods. It just requires choosing real, whole foods and combining them in a way that supports your biology. Every meal is a chance to either fuel inflammation or fight it. And the more you lean into fats, fiber, and clean proteins, the more you give your body the tools it needs to calm, stable, and strong. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Small changes add up, and over time, those steady choices build the foundation for vibrant, long-lasting health. Chronic inflammation is often described as the silent killer, lurking beneath the surface of what seems like ordinary health issues. You might not feel it happening, but over time, this low-grade inflammation damages tissues, alters hormone balance, impairs immunity, and sets the stage for nearly every chronic disease we fear most. From heart disease and cancer to diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and even depression and dementia, it's not the kind of inflammation you notice with a cut or injury. It's hidden, systemic, and fueled largely by the foods we eat every day. When you reduce chronic inflammation, you are not just treating symptoms, you're addressing the root cause of illness. That's why eliminating inflammatory foods from your diet is one of the most profound and immediate changes you can make for your health. Many people don't realize that the foods they consider normal or even healthy are triggering inflammatory responses in their bodies every single day. It often starts with sugar, which is one of the most pro-inflammatory substances in the modern diet. Whether it's in the form of cane sugar, corn syrup, agave, or even so-called healthy sweeteners in granola bars and juices, excess sugar drives the production of advanced glycation end products, damaging compounds that accelerate aging and contribute to cellular stress. Sugar spikes your insulin levels, leads to blood sugar crashes, promotes fat storage around the organ, and feeds harmful bacteria in the gut. All of this contributes to inflammation at the cellular level and overwhelms the body's natural defense systems. Refined carbohydrates are another major source of inflammation. Foods like white bread, pasta, pastries, crackers, and even many breakfast cereals are rapidly converted into sugar in the body, setting off the same metabolic cascade as pure sugar. These foods are stripped of fiber and nutrients, digested quickly, and lead to insulin resistance and the accumulation of visceral fat, the type of fat most strongly linked to inflammation and disease. When the body is flooded with glucose and insulin day after day, it starts to resist the signals, leading to elevated blood sugar, oxidative stress, and an inflammatory environment throughout the body. Another major contributor to chronic inflammation is vegetable oils. Oils like soybean, canola, cottonseed, and sunflower are rich in omega-6 fatty acids, which, while essential in small amounts, become harmful when consumed in excess. The modern diet is heavily skewed toward omega-6s and low in omega-3s, which leads to an imbalance that promotes inflammatory signaling. These oils are highly processed, often rancid by the time they hit the shelf, and used in virtually every packaged or restaurant food. When heated during cooking or deep frying, produce toxic byproducts that inflame the gut, damage arteries, and impair brain function. Food additives, preservatives, and artificial ingredients also play a role in chronic inflammation. Substances like monosodium glutamate, MSG, artificial sweeteners, food dyes, and emulsifiers can disrupt the gut microbiome, impair digestion, and provoke immune reactions in sensitive individuals. While they may seem harmless on a label, these compounds interfere with the body's natural processes and have been linked to leaky gut, behavioral issues, and metabolic dysfunction. Even foods marketed as diet, low-calorie, often contain a cocktail of these synthetic chemicals, creating a disconnect between what's advertised and what's actually health-promoting. Dairy and gluten are two other common inflammatory foods, especially for people with sensitivities or intolerances. While not everyone reacts to these foods, a significant portion of the population experiences digestive distress, skin problems, joint pain, or brain fog when consuming them. Gluten, found in wheat, barley, and rye, can irritate the gut lining, particularly in people with celiac disease or non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Dairy, especially from conventionally raised cows, often contains hormones, antibiotics, and inflammatory proteins like casein A1 that can trigger immune reaction. For those with existing gut issues or autoimmune conditions, removing these foods often leads to noticeable improvement in symptoms and a decrease in inflammatory markers. Processed meats such as bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and deli meats are also high on the list of inflammatory foods. These products often contain nitrates, preservatives, excess sodium, and unhealthy fats that contribute to oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. Studies have linked regular consumption of processed meats with increased risks of heart disease, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. These meats are often cooked at high temperatures, creating harmful compounds like heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which add another layer of toxicity and inflammation to the body. The good news is that reducing inflammation doesn't require a prescription or a complicated protocol. It begins with removing the foods that are causing harm. When you eliminate sugar, refined carbs, inflammatory oils, processed meats, artificial additives, and potential allergens like gluten and dairy, you create the conditions for healing. Your body knows how to recover, it just needs you to stop interfering with its natural intelligence. Within days or weeks of removing these foods, many people experience more energy, clearer thinking, improved digestion, less joint pain, better sleep, and even weight loss, because inflammation is no longer sabotaging their systems. This isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation, from fatigue, from brain fog, from stubborn weight, and from the limitations that come with chronic symptoms. When you stop eating inflammatory foods, you make room for the foods that nourish, heal, and energize. You begin to see food not just as calories or fuel, but as information that instructs your cells how to function. And when you consistently give your body the right information, inflammation recedes and vitality returns. The effects of chronic inflammation are cumulative, but so are the effects of removing its sources. Every meal, every bite is an opportunity to either feed inflammation or reduce it. The choice is powerful and immediate. You don't need to wait months to feel better. Your body will respond quickly when it no longer has to fight what you're putting in it. The immune system calms down, the gut starts to heal, hormones begin to balance, and energy returns. This is the real path to wellness, not chasing symptoms but removing the fire at its source. You deserve to feel good, you deserve to have energy, clarity, strength, and resilience. That begins by choosing foods that support you, not sabotage you. Eliminating inflammatory foods is not about restriction. It's about returning to a way of eating that's aligned with how your body was designed to thrive. And once you feel the difference, you'll never want to go back.